My fingers remembered the weight of ivory long after I'd forgotten the melodies. 10 years. A decade since I'd traded the concert hall for a quiet life, the roar of applause for the steady beat of my husband's heart. I chose him. I chose our future. And for a long time, that was more than enough. The spotlight found me alone on the vast, empty stage of the Philharmonic. The silence was a physical thing, pressing in, heavier than any Steinway lid. Tears traced cold paths down my cheeks, but my hands were steady at my sides. I could still feel the phantom vibration of a final, crashing chord. His final chord. A ghost of a smile touched my lips. The overture is over, I whispered to the vacant seats. Now, the performance begins. Just hours earlier, that same smile had been real. It was plastered across my face as I navigated a sea of champagne flutes and expensive suits in our glass-walled penthouse. The entire city glittered below us, a carpet of diamonds laid at the feet of my husband, Julian Vance. Tonight was his coronation. The Vance Tower, a spire of steel and audacity that scraped the clouds, was officially his. There she is, Julian's voice boomed, wrapping an arm around my waist. The woman who makes it all possible. He kissed my temple, a public display of affection that sent a ripple of appreciative murmurs through the crowd. He was a master of these moments. Charismatic, brilliant, a man who built monuments and made everyone around him feel like part of the design. "Isn't she incredible? You're the incredible one," I said, the words feeling smooth and practiced on my tongue. "We are all so proud of you." His eyes, a shade of blue so deep they seemed to hold secrets, crinkled at the corners. "There is no me without you, Eleanor, you know that." Later, he pulled me away from a conversation with a city councilman. He led me to the quiet of our bedroom, the party's hum a distant thrum through the door. A small, velvet-wrapped box sat on my vanity. "For you," he said, "to mark the occasion." Inside was an antique music box, silver and ornate, with mother-of-pearl inlay. It was exquisite. "Julian, it's beautiful. Open it," he urged, his smile impossibly fond. I lifted the lid. A tiny, delicate melody began to play. A chill, sharp and unwelcome, snaked up my spine. It was Chopin, the nocturne I was set to perform at the Van Cliburn competition's semifinals, the piece I never got to play. "To honor the music," Julian said softly, "to honor the sacrifice you made, for me, for us." I closed the lid, the melody abruptly cut short. The silence that followed was heavy with the ghost of a different life, the life where I was the one on stage. The life I'd given up 10 years ago when Julian called me, his voice shattered with panic. My uncle, my only family, had fallen, a bad one. He was in the hospital. I'd withdrawn from the competition without a second thought, packed a bag and flown home. My uncle recovered, but my momentum was gone. The window of opportunity had slammed shut. I never competed again. Instead, I built a life with Julian. I used the inheritance my parents left me to support his dream, to help fund his fledgling firm. "Thank you," I said, forcing the smile back into place. "It's perfect." He kissed me again, longer this time. "Enjoy the party. I have to go glad hand the mayor. Keep an eye on Maria for me, will you? Make sure she's not monopolizing the investors." Maria Rossi, his lead designer and business partner, a woman as sharp and sleek as the buildings they designed together. I saw her across the room, laughing with a client, a slash of red lipstick on a brilliant smile. I nodded, watching Julian disappear back into the crowd. Something felt off, a loose thread in a perfectly woven tapestry. I couldn't place it. The music box sat on my vanity, a silver tomb for a dead dream. An hour later, I was searching for a spare bottle of sparkling water. The catering staff was overwhelmed. I remembered seeing a case in Julian's home office and slipped away from the noise. The door was slightly ajar. I pushed it open and was hit by a blast of cold air. The floor-to-ceiling window leading to his private balcony was cracked open, the curtain billowing in the wind. As I went to close it, I saw his laptop left open on the mahogany desk. A chat window was active. It was from Maria. "Maria, he's eating it up. Sinclair just pledged another 10 million for the Dubai project." "Julian, of course he did. We are unstoppable." Maria, we are or you are. Julian, don't be coy. You know what you are to me. Maria, prove it. Meet me on the balcony in 5. My breath hitched. I scrolled up, my hand trembling, my blood turning to ice. The messages went back for months. Flirtations, inside jokes, then photos. A weekend trip to Napa I thought he'd taken with clients. A photo of Maria in a hotel room wearing his shirt. My shirt, really. The one I'd bought him for our anniversary. The room began to tilt. The noise of the party outside sounded distorted, like it was coming from underwater. This wasn't just a fling. This was a parallel life. He had built his masterpiece, the Vance Tower, with his partner, and he had built his life with his other partner, me. I felt a wave of nausea so profound I had to grip the edge of the desk. My eyes fell on a half-open drawer. A stack of old papers. On top was a single sheet of music, a dog-eared page from that same Chopin nocturne. Why would he have this? It was my copy, marked with my teacher's frantic scribbles from a decade ago. It made no sense. My fingers, numb and clumsy, pulled the sheet music out. Tucked inside it, like a forgotten bookmark, was a folded piece of paper. An email confirmation printed out. It was a flight itinerary. From 10 years ago, it was for a one-way ticket from Boston to Dallas, booked for my uncle Robert. The date was October 14th, 2 days before my semi-final performance at the Van Cliburn. The day Julian called me about the accident, but my uncle was never in Boston. He lived his entire life in a small town outside of Dallas. He hated flying. I stared at the name of the purchaser at the bottom of the page, Julian Vance. The air left my lungs in a single silent gasp. It wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't a sacrifice I had made. It was a choice he had made for me. He hadn't just taken advantage of a crisis. He had manufactured it. He'd bought a plane ticket he knew my uncle would never use, created a lie so perfect and so devastating that I would abandon my dream without a single question. He had locked me in this beautiful, gilded cage and convinced me I had built it myself. The music box on my vanity wasn't a tribute. It was a trophy, a monument to his most successful project, the demolition of my life to build his own. My phone buzzed in my hand. A notification from our shared family photo stream. Julian's phone must be set to automatically upload. My thumb swiped open the screen. It was a new picture taken just moments ago. The angle was from the secluded balcony off this very office. In the foreground, silhouetted against the glittering city lights, were 2 figures, Julian and Maria. His hand was tangled in her hair, hers was wrapped around his neck. They were locked in a passionate kiss. And behind them, rising into the night sky, was his triumph. Their triumph, the Vance Tower, the skyscraper I had helped fund with the last of my inheritance. A new message notification appeared at the top of my screen. A text to Julian's phone from Maria. I could read the preview without even opening it. Our tower looks beautiful tonight. It was worth every sacrifice. I looked from the photo on my phone to the fraudulent flight receipt in my hand, to the doorway through which I could hear the laughter of the party. The party for him, the life for him, all of it built on a foundation of lies so meticulous, so cruel, it stole the very air from my lungs. He hadn't just broken my heart. He had excavated my past and stolen my future, piece by meticulous piece, and I had handed him the shovel.